I just got back from Disney World a couple weeks ago, and visiting Disney World right now is really, really different. So if you're a Disney newbie or you're a seasoned annual pass holder, I promise you will learn something from my recent experiences in the parks. Things are definitely different from how they were last year, but they're different even from what they were like in July when the parks first opened. So we're going to go through a few lessons that I have learned. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Think you know how to visit Disney World? I sure thought I did, and I just got schooled on my recent visit. I've changed my mind about a lot of things. I've got a lot of things to tell you about that are new and different that you're going to experience in Disney World that we haven't really talked about yet. So let's go through 10 things that I wish I had known before I went to Disney World on this recent trip. Number 1, mask chains are a necessity. Now, if you don't know what mask chains are, think about it like eyeglasses chains, those things that connect to your eyeglasses to keep them just hanging on your chest when you take them off so that you don't have to kind of put them down. That's what a mask chain is. You can buy them all over the place on Etsy or Amazon or wherever, and they hook onto your mask, and then when you take your mask off, it just hangs around your neck. You don't have to stuff it in a pocket or put it in a bag or put it on a table. So anytime you need to take your mask off, for just a second to take a drink, or even when you're taking it off for a while for a meal, having it hang around your neck versus stuffing it into a pocket or putting it on a table is going to be a lot more sanitary. And if you're stepping aside for just a quick drink of water, remember you must be socially distanced and stationary in order to even take your mask down to sip some water. It's going to be a whole lot easier to let that mask hang around your neck rather than juggle your water bottle, mask, and whatever else you've got going on all for a sip of water. Even just having the mask hang around your ear is very, very easy for that thing to just fall off. So I loved having the mask chain and being able to use that. Now, when we first went to Disney World in July, a lot of restaurants actually brought you a little plate for your mask or a bag for your mask. I didn't have that happen very often when I was in Disney World a couple weeks ago, so they really weren't bringing you anything to do with your mask. So having it on the mask chain just made things so much easier. But I also do recommend bringing your own little pouch or little reusable bag for your mask if you're going to take it off for a long period of time. But yeah, mask chains, no brainer. Definitely get one. All right, next learning for me, and you have not heard me say this before, buffets are the best right now. Yep, buffets have gone family style in Disney World, and I'm telling you guys, it was so nice. Now, I know I've talked about Chef Mickey's being so much better as a family-style meal than a buffet, but this time I'm going to talk about Beer Garden in Epcot. It was so much fun to be there. So the entertainment is still there. You still have the musicians coming out and playing those cowbells and playing the Alpenhorns, and it's just so much fun that they're still there and they're still playing, but the food was actually delicious, not served buffet style. There was sausages and spätzle and bread and all kinds of delicious things, including the noodle gratin, that mac and cheese situation. That was also served to us, which was great. And the great thing about Beer Garden right now is, you know, you have those long tables and you usually have to share them with another family because there's 8 seats at those. But right now, you get your own table. You don't even have to worry about sharing with somebody else. Now, those of you who are not antisocial like me, you probably really enjoy sitting with other families and getting to meet people and get to know new people. But for me, I'm very self-conscious and nervous around new people. And so it's actually nice to have our own table at Beer Garden right now. But overall, it was just a really enjoyable experience. You got that benefit of having the live entertainment there. You got your own table. You got family-style meal, all you can eat. So really, really good food served warm. You don't have to go up to the buffet and, scoop it out yourself and deal with your kids kind of touching everything or everybody else's kids touching everything. Like I've said on the channel before, I've seen too many kids go ahead and just lick the buffet mashed potato spoon. No, I'm not going to deal with that. And so right now, the family style situation makes it so much easier and more sanitary. And so it makes me enjoy buffets a lot more. So Beer Garden, Chef Mickey's, and now Crystal Palace too are all former buffet restaurants serving things family style. Hollywood and Vine has switched to a prefix instead of a buffet. Overall, you won't need to worry about those questionable mashed potato spoons right now. Okay, next thing I learned. So you're going to want to go back to the old standby tip of going to the park early. You remember after the parks reopened in July, we said, hey guys, go to the parks a little bit later because waits are only 5 minutes. You don't want to deal with the initial crush of people when the parks open. So go a little bit later and then the crowds will be dispersed through the park and you can still ride all the rides with a 5-minute wait. Well, no, that is not the case anymore. We're back to recommending going in the early morning because the crowds and the queues are up significantly. We know that Disney increased the capacity limit to 35% now, so it is significantly more crowded than it was when the parks first opened. And I do think they are sort of hitting that capacity level more often than they did when the parks first opened. And the queue lines are getting much longer. Now you're seeing hour-long waits, 90-minute waits for rides pretty regularly, especially those headliner rides. So that short-lived recommendation to go midday is not the case any longer. If you're going to go and you want to ride multiple headliner rides in the same day without FastPass currently, you're going to want to go in the morning. So get there first thing to get on all the rides you want without those waits, especially with the way Rise of the Resistance boarding passes have changed. You can get in the virtual queue from anywhere starting at 7 a.m. So not as many people are going to be in the park very first thing. You don't have to worry about that crush of humanity that we saw at Hollywood Studios when the parks first opened, because people can actually join the queue from outside the park now. So that makes it even a better idea to get there early. So maximize your time with those lower crowds in the mornings and hit all your top rides first thing when the parks open. Now, another thing I noticed during my recent Disney World trip is that wearing a mask all day can actually make you feel a little bit sick. So I want you to not stress out about that. What we found is that after about a 10-hour day in a mask, we had kind of a scratchy throat and sometimes itchy eyes. But don't freak out if that's how you feel. I, of course, was like, oh, am I sick? Did I catch COVID? Whatever. But no, it's just you keep sort of breathing in that air, so it makes your throat a little scratchy. You're not sick. It's just how everybody feels. So keep checking your temperature just in case and staying hydrated, because that's going to go a long way toward helping that scratchy throat feeling. And don't forget to bring your chapstick, because your lips are going to get chapped under that mask too sometimes, especially if your lips are sort of touching the mask. They do have little cages you can put over your mouth so that the mask doesn't touch your lips. So that's an interesting option if you want to try that. But if you start to feel like a scratchy throat, maybe itchy eyes, like you have allergies almost, that's normal. And that's kind of what we all experience too. So don't freak out if you're feeling that way, but be sure to take your temperature and see if you have any other symptoms before you come into contact with anyone else. Okay, next thing I learned, there are so many lines and nobody knows what they're for. So with the socially distanced lines and the lines getting longer and longer and longer, that means you've got lines stretching all over the place where you're not used to seeing them and you don't expect them to be. And it's really hard to figure out sometimes what they're for. Like, I asked people a zillion times, what's this line for? Because I'd be in Frontierland seeing the Pirates of the Caribbean line. And if you're not familiar, this is not something that happens like ever. Pirates of the Caribbean is in Adventureland. There's no reason why the line for Pirates should be in Frontier. But anyway, the line for Haunted Mansion wound all the way over to Pecos Bills. Again, we've never seen lines like this before. Merchandise queue lines were running into ride lines. Lines for mobile order were interrupting lines for attractions. So right now, Disney World is kind of a mishmash of queue lines, and nobody really knows what any of them are for. So you might be surprised when you want to ride Frozen Ever After, which is in Norway and Epcot, and you're directed to an end of the line in China. Don't be surprised. That's how it is these days. And don't second guess yourself. It really is that long. So if you see a bunch of people standing in a semi-socially distanced row, they're in a line for something, even if you have no idea what that thing is at the moment. So you may have to ask multiple people, is this the line for Haunted Mansion? And keep walking. All right, number 6, Disney Springs parking on the weekends is crazy. Seriously, you guys, Disney Springs in the evenings on the weekends, just don't go. Don't go to Disney Springs on the weekends. I had to sit in traffic for an hour and a half to go a quarter mile to park in surface parking, which for those of you who don't know, that's the very last parking lot you're ever going to park in. And it was actually closed because Disney Springs was at capacity. The 2 parking garages were at capacity. The surface parking was at capacity, but they were still letting a few people come in. And Disney Springs was basically at capacity, but since I had a reservation at a restaurant and someone was already there waiting for me, I had to go. Now, rest assured, it was painful to get a parking spot, and Disney Springs was so crowded. There was no social distancing possible. There were just too many people and too many tight walkways. So, yes, if you have a dining reservation at Disney Springs on the weekend and Disney Springs is at capacity, you can get in for that reservation. They will let you park and let you in to go to that reservation. But think hard about whether you really want to go to that reservation when you may have to sit in traffic for an hour and a half just to park your car, and when you are walking into a very crowded situation. So my recommendation is, if you're going to do Disney Springs, try to do it during the week and do it during the day and not at night. All right, number 7 thing that I learned, the new security system can be a little bit of a pain. So, you know that security system they just started that's touchless, and you just walk through and the thing scans your bag and it beeps if there's anything in your bag that it's concerned about. Otherwise, you just walk right through. Well, what I found is that my bag beeped a lot, and I think a lot of people are having that same experience. So here's what you need to know. If there's anything vaguely concerning in your bag, you will get flagged and you'll have to undergo a full wand search and bag search. So they will kind of run the wand over your body to make sure you don't have any metal and things like that. And then they will search your bag anyway, even though the whole point of this thing is so that you don't get your bag searched. So here are the things you want to watch out for in your bag: glasses cases, external chargers, umbrellas, anything else cylindrical. Take it out of your bag and hold it up as you walk through security, or else you're likely going to get pulled to the side. And I gotta say, the wand search is humiliating because you kind of feel like a criminal as everyone else walks past. So yeah, I guess it's good that they have the no-touch system, except that my stuff kept getting touched. So stay aware of what items you may have that will set off a sensor. Keep those aside for easy access. So by the end of the week, I was literally walking through these sensors with external charger, umbrella, glasses case, and like 15 other things held up in my hand so that they could see them, so that I could get through security. But just be aware that you're going to have to do that if you have any of those things in your bag, or else you're going to be subject to an actual physical search. Okay, number 8, getting in and out of places is surprisingly confusing. So prepare yourself for the entry-exit maze confusion. If you thought Epcot was difficult right now with all that construction, wait till you try to get into a merchandise store in Disney World at the moment. So since stores and dining locations have dedicated entry and exit doors, you never really know where you can get into or out of a place you've been a million times and thought you knew like the back of your hand. And what also makes this more difficult is that a lot of the shops, especially on main streets like in Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, the shops are all connected. So the entry and exit may be literally a block away from where you are. So if you want to go to the Emporium in Magic Kingdom, there are only 2 places to get in versus the former 10 places to get in. If you want to leave Pecos Bills with your food through the Adventureland exit, nope, sorry, gotta leave through the farthest Frontierland door, even if the only empty table you spotted is way over by Tortuga Tavern. It's not something you're prepared for when you go, especially if you're a Disney veteran and you thought you know the place like the back of your hand. And those stickers, the entry and exit stickers, can be hard to see. Sometimes they're only on the ground. And if there's a crowd or if there's a bunch of people standing around, you may not be able to see if that's an entry or an exit door. So just be aware that things can get pretty frustrating if you're trying to get in and out quickly, if you're carrying a big tray of food and you're trying to find the exit, etc. It's going to be difficult. I was frustrated multiple times, especially when it starts to rain and you think you can run into a merchandise location and the entry to the merchandise location is literally down the street, like multiple at least a block away. This happened to me in Hollywood Studios. I tried to get in to a shop and kept being told, no, you have to go all the way down to the other end of the street to get in. Oh, and if you're in a popular store, sometimes there are waits to get in. You know, sometimes the stores are at capacity, so there are virtual queues set up to get into those stores, or there's just a line outside, a regular queue outside to get into the store. So if you're in a popular store, you had to wait to get in, don't forget to just get the items you want to buy. If you forget to pick up an item you'd like to buy, or you decide you don't want to get it, but then you go back and you want to get it, you're going to have to wait in line all over again to get in. So choose wisely and buy then. If you think you're going to want that thing, you can always return it to a less busy store. Because remember, anything you buy in a Disney-owned shop, you can return in any other Disney-owned shop. So just buy it and then you can return it later. All right, number 9, give yourself all the extra time, lots of extra time, because right now transportation is weird, lines are weird, food is weird, everything is way more complicated and time consuming right now. So place your mobile order 30 to 40 minutes before you're going to actually want to eat. Remember, everybody has to use mobile order at those counter service locations. And so with that many people mobile ordering, that means that the waits for mobile order are longer. And right now they have actual specific time windows to mobile order. And if you're trying to order from a popular restaurant right at a regular dining time, then your kind of window for ordering may be an hour from the time you actually wanted to order. So that's something to keep an eye on. You may choose to eat at off times. So maybe like 10:30 for lunch or 3:30 for dinner or something like that, so that your mobile order time isn't quite so far off. So if you want to eat mobile order, start thinking about it and look on your phone and see what the dining times are available well before you're starting to really get hangry. And then don't forget, when you have to go get that food, which is taking a while, and then find a table, which is also difficult due to social distancing and so many tables being out of commission and people actually having to be stationary to eat their food. So a lot more people are grabbing tables than would normally. Grabbing a quick bite can end up taking a lot longer than you'd expect. So everything seems to take longer in Disney World right now, so definitely be prepared for that. And number 10, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, long waits are back. Wait times, baby, we're back to the olden days now. No more 5-minute waits for blockbuster attractions like we saw in July. Now lines get long and stay that way for most of your favorite rides, from Test Track to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train to Expedition Everest to Frozen Ever After, Flight of Passage, and all the second-tier biggies as well. Basically everything in Hollywood Studios. So bring those Q games, those charged iPads, those library books, and new apps. You'll be spending a good amount of time in line 1980s style. So definitely be prepared for that. And here's a little bonus note, and you guys probably all knew this. If you order a counter service meal, it very possibly comes with fries, even if it's not advertised as coming with fries. So don't do what I did and order like 6 counter service meals and then also order several sides of fries because you knew people would want fries with their meal, because then I just got a whole bunch of counter service meals and twice the fries, which shouldn't be a bad thing, but I think we had like 12 baskets of fries on our table. So just a heads up that a lot of the counter service meals come with fries, and if they don't, and you can always ask a cast member if that comes with fries or not. So there's, I'm always learning something new. I've been doing this job for over 10 years and always learning something new. I was made fun of mercilessly for all of those French fries by the people I was with. So I said, I'm going to make sure that my YouTube subscribers hear about this, because I want them to not be drowning in too many Disney fries, if there is such a thing. So there's the things I learned when I was at Disney World last week, along with a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to share with you in future videos too. Now, have you been to Disney World recently, and what's the biggest learning curve you've faced? Because a lot of our team members have been to Disney World too, and they're saying, oh, we didn't experience some of those things that you did. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What's been your experience? Because something that I'm really realizing is that on any given day, in any given part of the park, you could have a totally different experience. It could be super crowded in one section of Epcot and totally empty in Magic Kingdom. Or it could be super, super crowded in Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom is totally empty that day. So we're trying to keep a lock on the crowds and the lines and the wait times for you guys. But honestly, it's all over the map. And so we'd love to hear from you what you're experiencing too. But I hope that my learnings help you. Even if you don't experience some of this stuff, being prepared for it and knowing what you're going to do if it does come up is always, always good. You always want to be prepared for the potential negatives. And if they don't happen, you're going to have an even better trip, right? So that's what I'm here for, to share with you. Here's my real, true experience in Disney World. Here's what happened to me, and here's what may happen to you. So get your game plan in order. Thank you guys for listening, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.